Here are 4 confessions of a former fat girl about living in the body that I currently have. If you're new here, hey, my name is Meg. I'm a New York City-based actress, educator, and motivational speaker.
Hi bestie, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bestie, like the video because it helps with my algorithm. So in today's video, we'll be talking about confessions from ex-fat plus size women. Okay, so I put the stitches together so that you watch. I'll be back, share my true sense.
Here are 4 confessions of a former fat girl about living in the body that I currently have. If you're new here, hey, my name is Meg. I'm a New York City-based actress, educator, and motivational speaker, and I went through a pretty dramatic weight loss, and now I talk about it on the internet. No, Celsius doesn't sponsor me, but this is my favorite flavor. Confession number 1. My heart will still stop beating every time a friend of mine says, oh, well, you can just borrow my clothes. Just borrow a pair of pants, or borrow a shirt. You need a shirt? You can use my shirt. If you've ever lived in a bigger body, you know this is like your worst nightmare. And even though I technically recognize that I can probably fit into most of my friends' clothes now, I still freak out every single time I go to try on one of their shirts or a pair of their pants or one of their dresses. For some reason, that was just like the most embarrassing thing when the dress didn't zip or the shirt was too tight when you tried to borrow some of your friends' clothes. Confession number 2. I often find myself falling into unhealthy habits because I become obsessed with my size or what I look like or the aesthetics of my body. This is something I work really hard to overcome by practicing body acceptance, but there are times where I just fall back into negative patterns. Anyone who's ever been in a bigger body knows exactly what I'm about to do. And even though I know my body is strong and healthy and capable, I still find myself falling back on those old patterns all the time. Confession number 3. For some reason, my brain is convinced that I still wear plus size and I buy clothes that are too big for me, and then I get really, really sad that they're too big for me. I wish I could describe it in any better way other than my brain does not recognize the size of my body. It just, no matter what size I am, I'm delusional about it. There are literally things in my closet ranging from an extra small to an extra large. I have no idea what size I wear. And confession number 4. For a long time, I truly believed my worth was based off the size of my body. I let society's viewpoints of fat people make me feel like I was worth less just because I lived in a bigger body. Plot twist. At my skinniest, I wasn't my happiest. I wasn't my healthiest. And I wasn't living a life that I would be proud of. And that's why I work so hard every day to find body acceptance. Meeting my mind and my body where it's at each day and being okay with that. And recognizing that some days I'm gonna feel really good about myself and some days I might not. And that's okay. And remember, bodies are just bodies. They can't be bad.
Okay, I'm going to talk about some absolutely delusional things I used to think when I was 243 pounds and gaining weight rapidly. First, when I binged and I overate like crazy the night before, if the next day I had a very large poop, I would literally think that I like pooped out all of the calories that I ate and it was equaled out. I truly believe that, and I'm not even joking. Every time I'm like the next morning, like I'd eat some greasy food. The next morning I'd have a big poop. I'm like, okay, well, it's like I didn't even eat it. Number 2, if I was eating healthy whole foods, I literally thought I could eat as much as I wanted and I would not gain weight. Like anything like nuts, nut butter, quinoa, chia seeds, flax seeds, like stuff like that. I would always like sprinkle on my oatmeal and stuff. I would eat so much of it and be like, it's healthy. I'm allowed to eat as much as I want. I'm not going to gain weight. Number 3, when I ate a very big greasy meal, I felt like crap. I would go and eat an apple or like a banana or some type of fruit to kind of cancel out that gross, guilty feeling from eating all of that bad food. I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna eat an apple and I'll still be fine, okay? Even though that literally just adds more calories and did absolutely nothing. Number 4, when I went to a fast food place and I got a 0-calorie Diet Coke, I'd be like, oh, that's 0 calories. Now I can eat more food to like replace that. And then I would end up ordering more food because I'm like, I'm having a 0-calorie drink, so I can have more food. When really the point is to eat less calories. That's the point of ordering a Diet Coke. Number 5, I would convince myself that if I just didn't eat all day, then I could have like a bigger dinner. And what that would do is I would be starving, and then I'd end up binging dinner and eating like 4,000 calories in one sitting because I was so hungry. But I'm like, it's fine. I didn't eat all day. I can literally eat as much as I want. And the thing is that I knew better than all of this. I knew it wasn't true, but I would convince myself because it made me feel better about the way that I ate and the way that I would binge. So, yeah.
I will always stand by the fact that one of the craziest experiences of losing a lot of weight is the way that you are treated afterwards. And it's not only the way that you're treated, but it's the way that people treat other fat people around you now. Because listen, I spent the first 28 years of my life in a fat body, and I loved myself. Have always loved myself. And growing up in a fat body, I definitely knew that fat phobia was a real thing. But going from this to this and seeing how differently people in my own life treated me after losing weight was really hard to deal with sometimes. And it's the fact that going from this to this suddenly makes people think that I'm also going to be fat phobic. And it's like, no, okay, that's not what this is about. I am extremely thankful that the closest people in my life never made comments like the ones in this video, but acquaintances and people who I thought were, you know, kind of casual friends were all of a sudden expecting me to be fat phobic towards other fat people just because I'd lost weight. And that will quite literally never be me, babes, because I never lost weight because I hated being in a fat body, and I've never hated fat bodies. There's a lot of people out there that do.
Do I miss being fat? Came from my weight loss journey.
If you grew up as a fat kid at school, did you also grow up to be very good at pretending to be sick just to get out of things? Because I know I did. For example, this. Why do they do this? It is actually so traumatic to line kids up. And at this point, when they did this for me, I know that I was in year 4. So everybody would have been old enough. I knew how much I weighed. Everybody else was talking about how they're like 40 kilos. And I was like, I'm not about to put myself through comparison with these other kids. And to be thinking this at the age of like 9 or 10 is so messed up. You should not have to be worried about your weight in school. Like, I knew how much I weighed and I knew that it was nothing like them. So I did not want to put myself through that. So naturally, I just did what I learned to do best, and that was pretend to be sick. So teacher was like, oh, okay, you're going to have to go to sick bay. And I was like, perfect. Get me out of this classroom. I don't want to be weighed. So I go to the sick bay. They call my mom. And then my mom has to pick me up. Thanks, mom. Which this just became a regular thing. If there was like a physical education thing, like in sport, that I knew that I couldn't do, catch you later. I'm out. Like school carnival sports, mom, sign me a note. I'm out. Like, you want me to do long jump, high jump? Like, no thank you. No thanks. School swimming carnival, I went. I tried to participate. I was actually a decent swimmer. But I remember standing there, minding my own business, and somebody comes up to me and they're like, Jordan said you have a big bum. Obviously, in that moment, you're crushed. Your soul is crushed. I was in year 5 or 6. I was like 11. Obviously, these days, if somebody says, oh, you got a big ass, you're like, thank you. But when you're a child, it breaks your heart. If you also became a pro at becoming sick suddenly in school to try and get out of something, please let me know in the comments what it was. And I'm sorry that you had to experience that. And I hope that it's not like this in school anymore.
I did that. No, literally, I did that. All this hard work to get from there to here. Yeah. It kind of looks like 2 different people, right? Nope, it's me. I've been training since January 5th of this year, 2023. I remember I went to McDonald's, ordered a Big Mac, got a McFlurry, cookies, Coke, and I was like, this doesn't even taste as good as I wanted it to taste. I know you guys know what I mean. Like, when you think about a food and you're like, oh, I want that so bad, and you have it, and it's like, it doesn't really satisfy you as much as you thought it would. Essentially, I became habituated to the food that I was craving. And I was just tired of looking at my body and feeling lethargic. And so that's it. I'm doing this shit. The next morning, I woke up, went on Snapchat, and told the whole world, I'm going to start losing weight. I was scared, but I did it. I literally lost 45 pounds in 8 months. Someone asked me the other day, isn't that unhealthy? All right. So realistically, you could lose like 2 pounds a week, and that's healthy. Now let's do the math. 8 times 4 is 32. 32 weeks. Now, if we do 2 pounds for every week, that is 64. So to be healthy, losing weight, like being really strict and losing weight 2 pounds a week would be 64 pounds. I lost 45. and gained a crap ton of muscle. I literally did strength training every day, worked out every single day, did cardio. Not gonna lie to you, I'm 3 weeks out from my first ever bikini competition. And right now, I'm struggling. I'm on the struggle bus, as what's his name says on Peloton. I'm literally struggling to stick to my diet and my routine. It's because I'm burned out. You do burn out. If you do something for an extended amount of time, you're going to get burned out. It's just natural. I'm burned out. I don't want to do this anymore. I only have 3 weeks left for my first competition. And then I have another 2 weeks and a half until my last competition. Who knows? Maybe I'll compete again in the future. What do you think? Either way, I've lost a lot of weight. I've learned new habits to like be healthy. But ultimately, like, I just want to share with you guys that this transition, this transformation has been incredible. It's been eye-opening. It's been a mindset shift. I have learned so much about myself. I'm freaking tired, but I'm going to keep going. And I'm sharing this because I know that there are people out there that are like, wait, what? She did what? How? Yeah, babe, you can do it. I promise. You can. It took me eating my last Big Mac, realizing it's never going to taste as good as I thought. And eating the McFlurry. Honestly, I do miss a McFlurry. Or like Five Guys, Oreos, milkshakes. Miss it. All right, back to the real thing. Okay, so I'm competing and I'm going to like stick to my diet for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to try. I'm going to really try. I'm going to dial it in. At the end of the day, I always say this, I don't care about winning or placing or anything like that or getting a trophy. I have won already because I have showed up every single day. You can too. Just make small changes. Every single day, make a habit shift. I know you can do it. I did it. I'm so excited to like just share with you all the ways that I've done it. And I mean, ask me questions. I'm here to answer and share because I think there's so much power in sharing and being vulnerable, you know? And yeah, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to get back to work now.
So a lot of my eating stems from when I was a child, and I think that you build habits when you're younger. So I'm with my mum. I'm not going to show her face, but she's here. Say hi, mum.
Hi.
I grew up and had two sisters, and they would always eat what my mum gave them, but I would always ask for more, wouldn't I, mum?
Definitely.
So like, for example, they would get like 3 fish fingers on their plate, and how many would I usually eat?
So can I have a bit more, Mum? Can I just have another 2?
Another 2, see what I mean? And my mum, what did you do when I used to ask for that kind of food?
I said, of course you can. You know, you must be born hungry.
Exactly. So if you feel like you've grown up with those tendencies, I'm not blaming my mum, but sometimes it does stem in childhood and you have to unlearn those behaviours of asking for more food.
When you lose weight, people think that they deserve to know how you lost the weight. People will often like demand it. Like they will become demanding, wanting to know how you did it. I'm sorry. Since when are other people's medical conditions any of your fucking business?
Talk about the funniest things that happened to me when I was fat. Part 1. I am banned from every single melting pot in the US. Every toilet that I would sit on, I essentially would break them. I was asked to homecoming and then unasked by an underclassman who I had such a crush on, but everyone kind of gave him poop about it, so that's why he unasked me. My friend who built his own car, when I sat on it, I dented it, and I'm pretty sure he had to do repairs to completely fix the car all over.
That's a video, besties. I'm just here just to add on like what I think about today's video. In today's video, talking about confessions of ex-fat plus size women. So these are the things that most people on the outside don't realize, because when you're big, you are in a bigger body, your experience of the world is so different. Once the weight comes off, many women start opening up about what it was really like to live in the body, how people treated them, and even how they treated themselves. It's a row of emotion and honesty. So one of the confessions that comes up again and again is how invisible many women felt when they were plus size. Some say they could walk into a room and nobody would really notice them. But once the weight came off, suddenly everyone wanted to pay attention. Friends, strangers, co-workers, people who barely acknowledged them before started treating them like they existed. It's painful realization because it shows that the world often places value on appearance before character. Another confession is about love and dating. A lot of women say that when they were plus size, they often felt like they had to settle. They would stay in relationship with men who did not treat them well simply because they believed they wouldn't find better. Some even admitted that they accepted being a secret girlfriend or tolerated disrespect because they thought their weight meant they didn't deserve a healthy, loving relationship. Okay, so after losing weight, they realized just how wrong that belief was, but at that time it was very real. Food is another area where expert women confesses some hard truth. Many said food was more than just something to eat, it was comfort, it was therapy, it was an escape. Some described using food like a friend, especially during lonely nights or stressful days. Once they lost weight, they realized how deeply tied emotions were to their eating habits. Some even confessed that it wasn't just about loving food, but about avoiding pain they didn't want to deal with. There's also the confession about confidence. Many women assume that once they lost the weight, all their insecurities would disappear. But the reality is, losing weight changes the body, not the mind. Some say they still struggled with body image even after reaching their goal weight. They looked in the mirror and still they saw the old vision of themselves. It shows that the mental and emotional journey is just as important as the physical one. A very interesting confession that comes up is jealousy from other women. Some expert women reveal that their female friends started treating them differently after losing the weight. Friendships shifted, some became distant, and others accused them of changing. But in reality, it wasn't that they had changed, it was that people were reacting different to them now that the society suddenly saw them as more attractive. It's a reminder that weight loss doesn't change your body, it also changes your relationship. Another big confession is about family. Some women admitted that their families played a huge role in how they saw themselves. Maybe they grew up in homes where food was always tied to love, or where they were teased for being there or being the bigger one. When they lost the weight, they realized how much of their eating habits were rooted in childhood patterns. Some even say that family members who used to shame them suddenly acted proud as if they had been part of their problem. Then there's a confession about clothing. When they were plus size, shopping was often stressful and heartbreaking. Stores didn't carry their size, or if they did, the clothes were not stylish. Many women say they used to cry in dressing room because nothing fit the way they wanted. After weight loss, walking in a store became completely different experience. They felt they finally had the freedom to wear what they loved instead of settling for whatever. A lot of ex-women who also confessed to feeling guilty for how they treated themselves, guilty for years they wasted feeling small inside, guilty for thinking they were not worthy of love or success because of their size. Some even feel guilty about leaving behind the plus size community, almost as if they are betraying their old self. It's complicated emotion that shows how deep the journey really is. And bestie, one of the most powerful confessions is about respect. Many expert women admit they get more respect now. Doctors listen to them more seriously, strangers smile at them more often, and even job opportunity seem easy to get. It's not fair, but it's reality. Losing weight did not make them smarter, kinder, or more tolerated, but suddenly the world decided they were more valuable. At that time, some women confessed that miss certain things about their bigger body.